Well, Qatar may have been isolated economically by its Gulf neighbours, but its financial markets have stabilised after an initial week of losses. The government says it has the resources to cope with the regional sanctions. And the finance minister is warning if Qatar loses money, countries behind the embargo will lose money too. Credit rating agency Standard & Poor's says Qatari banks are strong enough to hold on, even if all Gulf money is pulled and more. And it's not just Qatari banks. The UAE's main lenders could lose out from a slowdown in business coming from Qatar. Qatar says gas exports, its top export earner, are on track, though importers are expected to push for sweeter deals. These gas supplies matter for the UAE too. The Undersea Dolphin Energy Agency supplies the UAE and Oman with about 56 million cubic meters of Qatari gas a day. It's still operating despite diplomatic tension. As for food supplies, Turkey and Iran are benefiting at the expense of Saudi Arabia and the UAE. Indian and European companies are expected to step in too with sugar. Now, for construction materials, Qatar says its supply chains are already in place. There's uncertainty, though, over the operations of UAE-based companies and contractors in Qatar. Qatar's Economy Minister Ahmed bin Jassim Al Thani says the government is already proving it can keep the country running. He's been speaking to Al Jazeera's Jamal Al-Shayal.
Let's start with talking about the day-to-day life of normal citizens here in Qatar, both Qataris and expats who are living here. What impact has this siege had on them?
Yeah, when you talk about the impact, if we look at the Qatar economy is strong, resilient. All the indicators talk about like Qatar economy is the 18th most competitive in the world, the second microeconomic efficiency and good efficiency. So the indicator very strong financial position for Qatar. Qatar is one of the strongest economy in the world. Looking at the diversification of the economy of Qatar, 61% of GDP come from non-oil and gas. Our import, our trade with the world is 330 billion Qatari riyal, and it is a diversified economy, as I mentioned, supported by the Qatar Vision economy, Qatar Vision 2030. All these indicators and the strength of the Qatar economy give it some sort of resilient and immune to deal with such situation. The blockage mainly is for the land border, around 14% of our total trade. We have a clear plan of such a situation if it happen, how we're going to deal with it immediately within hours. We activate this plan. The alternative source is already identified, and the alternative point of entrance, like either by air or by sea, immediately diverted. And we are seeing the supply chain now moving very smoothly.
So people in Qatar were used to buying their milk and chicken produced from Saudi Arabia and brought here. Now they're seeing it from other countries. You managed to change that, as you mentioned, in just a few hours. Can you explain how, aside from these impacts, has there been any other impacts, or has the impact of this siege been very minimal?
The impact of the siege, or the impact in the economy of Qatar, was very limited. And as I said, we have a clear plan and we know exactly how to deal with it. More than this, we built a strategic reserve for the main strategic, either food or also other materials for our project. That's why we were ready to deal with such a situation immediately, within hours, immediately. This plan has been identified, the source has been activated, the alternative source, and we start to import. You mentioned milk, like immediately from Turkey and other sources. And as you can see, the shelves was always full and never empty in the first day of the blockage. We're really now not talking about the primary need for the consumer. We are talking about maintaining the level of the lifestyle that Qataris and who live in Qatar experience. And that's where we are. We just now, today I'm talking to you, I'm comfortable that all the supply chain, either from air or by sea, is working as smooth as normal. The goods that used to go to Jebel Ali and re-exported here to Qatar, either by sea again or by land, have been all diverted to Sahar and Salalah. By the agreement with the main ship lines. Also, we announced a direct ship from Salalah and from Sahar to Hamad Port. More than this, also we have a new line will come directly from India to Hamad Port. So even what you are the challenge that we are facing, creating opportunities for the others.
You also, aside from having one of the highest GDPs in the world, you have some of the biggest infrastructure projects that are taking place. You're gearing up to the World Cup 2022. There's a massive metro system that's being built. Has the siege had an impact on these big infrastructure projects?
You know, all the infrastructure projects, either related to 2022 World Cup or related to the actual plan infrastructure development and upgrade that we are doing here, talking about metro, highways and others, all will be on schedule. There is no impact on it. Primary material, the main primary material is some of them manufactured here in Qatar, like the cement, the steel, and the sand available here, and it's enough for Qatar, and even we export it. For the others, immediately, as I said, first of all, for the others, we have a reserve, a strategic reserve for more than a year. So if we really don't export or import this primary material for a year, we have enough to cover all our projects, the infrastructure project and also the private sector project, which is other projects. But alternative source has been identified, but the blockage for the primary material, building material, has no impact, because initially it was coming by sea, and it's continuing now to come by sea. And Hamad Port now is working at its full potential, working smooth as a clock. And Hamad Airport and more than 150 destination is as per schedule, working smoothly by Qatar Airways, except for the 4 countries that have the blockage in Qatar. Otherwise, everything is moving like clock.
It appears that there's a few silver linings when it comes to this challenge, or the siege that's been imposed, that you've managed to turn some of these challenges into opportunities, like, for example, the increase in trade that's come to Hamad Port, the new naval or sea lines or trade routes that have happened. Can you tell me about them?
As I said to you, I mean, the challenges create opportunities. And that's what we are seeing. And from what I see, I think the logistic landscape in the region is kind of changing now. Most of our goods and other country goods coming through Oman, as I said, with agreement with the main ship liner. And also a direct line start to come to Hamad Port from all around the world. And also the source of goods also. We discovered a new source of goods that open up opportunity that we were not, probably the private sector were not aware of or exposed to it, but these challenges will give them this new access to new market, to new goods, and probably new quality.